everyone, welcome to National Focus. I'm your presenter Tarnia Green. It's always a pleasure to have you join us. Coming up on National Focus, residents at risk on Roseau Riverbank to be relocated to safer ground, 11 students awarded scholarships by the NCCU, and OECS Assembly inauguration considered a major regional achievement. All these stories and more when National Focus returns. Welcome back. Time now for the details of the news. Government will need a total of $191,000 to go towards cleanup efforts following damage caused by torrential rains on the weekend. Public Works Minister Honorable Rayburn Blackmore made that disclosure in an interview with GIS News on Monday.
The impact ranges from rockfalls, landslide, erosion and flooding. And most of the areas affected are the same areas where we have outstanding work to be undertaken. And the damage thus far, by way of an estimate, is $110,000. As I said, thus far. That in itself may increase. In terms of the actual money to be spent for the actual cleaning up of the various areas, of course, it would be about $191,000.
The minister further disclosed that a $40 million loan has been secured from the Caribbean Development Bank, which will go towards rehabilitation works in communities along the island's west coast. Some of those funds will be used to realign the road in Layu, which was destroyed by continuous heavy rains. A new bridge in the Clock Hall area will also be constructed in Layu. Dominica can boast significant developments thanks to this government's extraordinary foreign policy. So says Minister for Education and Human Resource Development, Honorable Peter Saint-Jean. Honorable Saint-Jean listed a number of improvements from within the last 8 years, which he said is due to the partnership between Dominica and the People's Republic of China.
We have seen the construction of the Windsor Park Sports Stadium, which by all measure stands out as one of the premier sporting facilities in the region, thanks to the government and people of the People's Republic of China. We have seen the construction of the new Dominica Grammar School, and we need to note here that the Dominica Grammar School is the largest secondary school on island. In addition, we have seen the construction of the Edward Oliver LeBlanc Highway, which has transformed the manner in which people commute between Roseau and Portsmouth. And of course, we look forward to commencement of work on the new state-of-the-art hospital. Friends, I believe that some of these tangible investments have radically transformed the way that people in the region looked at the Commonwealth of Dominica.
Honorable Saint-Jean went on to thank the People's Republic of China for their friendship and their investments in the island. The minister noted that education is part of the considerable advancements taking place across the country thanks to the foreign policy. Minister Saint-Jean made special note of the current administration's strategy, which allows each young person an opportunity for self-improvement.
Every young Dominican has been given an opportunity by this government to make a meaningful contribution to national development. It is the policy of this government that from the foundational years, early childhood, we ensure that our young people are given an opportunity for adequate formation and development. Not only do we seek to ensure that at the primary and secondary level that our children, our young people are well developed, fully developed, but at the tertiary level, at the higher level, we seek to ensure that every young Dominican must be given. This is not a matter of a privilege for few, but it is a right of every Dominican to receive quality education.
In more news, government is working to relocate residents occupying properties on the Roseau Riverbank who may be at risk during heavy rains. Public Works Minister Honorable Rayburn Blackmore told GIS News that the area is prone to flooding and measures have already been taken to communicate with concerned residents to ensure their safety.
Between the area of the Ball of Joy and the New Bridge to Rose Street, where we have persons occupying who have built structures, residential homes and commercial entities, they have been written to a couple years ago, and we have to ensure that we move quickly to ensure that these persons are no longer occupying, because what it does, it interferes with the riverbed and narrows the riverbed. And as a consequence, when you have flooding activities, the river has a natural tendency to go towards the northern part of the side of the river. So that itself, we cannot compromise at no time the issue of public safety and to allow a few persons to show the total disregard to the rule of law. So we'll be working in a very cordial way to ensure that is done and to restore some degree of security and safety in that area.
The minister did not say when exactly the relocation will take place. The Ministry of Public Works has, however, assured those concerned that all efforts will be made to ensure that the transition is a smooth one. And 11 students are being afforded the opportunity to pursue secondary education thanks to scholarships from the National Cooperative Credit Union Limited. The scholarship awards took place at a ceremony on Tuesday morning. Kathleen Charles and Joshua Timothy received the new Hudson Savre scholarships, and Kelma Roll, Jonathan Timothy, Josian Stewart and Shaja Joseph merited the Edward Elwin scholarships. The Ambrose Cuffey Memorial Scholarship went to Cody Polidor, while Joshua LeBlanc received the Vernice Bellany Scholarship, and Morris James took home the Marie Wilkins Scholarship, which is also newly recognized. Selena Paquette earned the NCC Limited Merit Scholarship and had this to say by way of thanks.
I am very grateful for the Merit Scholarship I received from the NCCU, and I promise to work hard and strive to do my best and work for excellence. Thanks to the Board of Directors, members, officers, and staff of the NCCU. May God continue to bless you.
The Shonda Jolly Merit Scholarship was secured by Delix Saint-Hilaire, and he too expressed his thanks.
Firstly, I would like to extend my gratitude to the Almighty Father for carrying me through and helping me. I would also like to say a hearty thank you to the National Cooperative Credit Union for allowing me the opportunity to further excel. Thanks to everyone who contributed in making this scholarship possible, and God bless you.
Chief Executive Officer of the National Cooperative Credit Union Limited, Aylmer Irish, in his welcome remarks, said that the Institute's scholarship capacity is greatly due to the recent amalgamation. Among a few words of advice, Irish also encouraged the students, saying that they should determine their plans for the future and work towards it, starting with reading and homework.
It is not too early to decide what you want to become in life. It is important for you, with the assistance of your parents, to begin laying down a good foundation, which begins with education. Aim to be the best in your class, ensuring that you attend school regularly. Do all your class assignments, popularly known as homework, and read, read, read.
President of the NCCU Limited, Dexter Ducre, stated that investing in children is very important to the institution. He revealed to the ceremony that the NCCU Limited has invested about $100,000 in scholarships between 2012 and 2013.
These scholarships include provision of textbooks and school supplies to a maximum of $700, an annual uniform allowance of $300 per student, payment of school fees which range from $20 to $525, provision of a monthly transportation allowance ranging from $50 to $80 per student where applicable, payment of CXC examination fees and other fees that any exam the school has sort of endorsed, we will pay the fees. For the Dominica State College, tuition fee of $1,000 per academic year, books and stationery, $700 per academic year. In addition to the above, 2 partial scholarships are awarded annually in October, and we also assist other parents of students attending secondary schools, both members and non-members, by providing textbooks from existing stock.
The National Cooperative Credit Union Limited was inaugurated in October of 2010, and this scholarship ceremony is the 2nd annual of its kind. In more news, distinguished Barbadian novelist and poet George Lamming has described as a novelty the opportunity afforded to him to speak on the topic of literature before a Dominican audience. Lamming was the keynote speaker at the official opening ceremony of the 5th staging of the Nature Island Literary Festival and Book Fair on the weekend.
Over the years, I have been invited to all kinds of places to speak. Trade unions, journalist associations, all kinds of organizations. But I've almost never been asked to speak about literature. And so the invitation to Dominica with this very specific assignment is something of a novelty for me.
George Lamming, a lecturer at the University of the West Indies, is a world-renowned intellectual, writer, critic, and educator. Lamming exploded onto the literary scene in 1953 with his first novel, In the Castle of My Skin. The novel about a Caribbean childhood and the realities of colonialism remains the most widely read of West Indian novels. Lamming, the author of 6 novels, describes himself as a political novelist and has been closely involved in the political and cultural events of the Caribbean and Commonwealth over the last 50 years, remaining an astute critic and commentator on political, historical, and cultural events. George Lamming, in delivering his presentation, spoke of his theory in measuring one's development.
We can only measure a people's development by their capacity to recognize the collective basic needs of their society and by their capacity to acquire those skills of intellect and imagination which enable them to deal with those needs and to do so within the constraints of their resources. It is not size and it is not power, but what you do with what you have that matters.
Sovereignty of the imagination, language, and the politics of ethnicity, and Coming Home, Western Education, and the Caribbean Intellectual, both books by George Lamming, were available at last weekend's book fair. Public Works Minister Honorable Raymond Blackmore believes last week's inauguration of the OECS Assembly is a major achievement for the region. Minister Blackmore attended last Friday's regional event at the Antigua and Barbuda Parliament and spoke with GIS News following the official ceremony. He noted that the OECS region has over the years recorded significant accomplishments.
It's Eastern Caribbean Bank, and of course it has done very well for us thus far. The whole issue as to how we deal on the whole issue of civil aviation, and is another demonstration of our achievement as a sub-region. And the Eastern Caribbean currency for a long period of time, for over 30 years, has been very stable. And I think when one takes into consideration what is happening in the bigger economies, for example, the US currency, we have seen that it's not really stable, although the United States of America is the biggest economy. But of course, that in itself speaks to the fact that we can do things together and keep the region very, very strong and firm, It's a hope, therefore, that the aspirations of the people of the Caribbean, of the OECS, can be maintained and protected and safeguarded.
Minister Blackmore was particularly impressed with the inclusion of ruling governments and opposition of OECS states in the Regional Assembly.
The greatest pillar of our civilization as a sub-region is one of democracy. And of course, democracy in itself, where both sides of the House, both sides are represented, is a true manifestation of the true spirit of democracy. So I think it's a remarkable achievement for us. And I think it has to go beyond just talk and academics, but to see the practical manifestation of this true spirit of what a true assembly should stand for.
The OECS Assembly is provided for under Article 10 of the revised Treaty of Basse-Terre and is one of 5 principal organs establishing the OECS. The 4 other organs are the OECS Authority, the OECS Commission, the Economic Affairs Council, and the Ministerial Council. Meantime, Minister for Information, Honorable Ambrose George, who also attended last week's inauguration, described the formation of the OECS Assembly as a landmark event for the OECS. He spoke of his expectations of the Regional Assembly.
What we expect from this General Assembly is an assembly that will look at matters related to the OECS individually and as a grouping. Those matters in the form of legislation will be taken to the Assembly, deliberated upon, and decisions taken, and more so for the benefit of the people of the OECS countries.
The OECS Assembly comprises 5 members of the Parliament of each independent member state and 3 members from the legislature of each non-independent state, with representation from both the ruling administration and the political opposition. Minister George commented on the inclusion of the opposition on the OECS Assembly.
I think it is equally important that both members of the ruling parties as well as members of the opposition do form part of that assembly so that all minds can contend and that the public good, and that is the interests of the people, would be well represented at the assembly. Because we have constituents who voted for members of the opposition as well as for the government representatives. And therefore, having both the government as well as the opposition parliamentarians forming part of the assembly, I think is a very useful move. It's a move in the right direction and one which can only redound to the general and overall benefit of the people of the OECS.
Minister George believes this will aid in the overall efforts by OECS member countries towards regional integration.
It's another opportunity for strengthening the integration process, bringing our people into one union, so to speak, in matters of trade, in matters of free movement, in matters of cooperation, in matters of aviation, in matters of the Monetary Council, and several other aspects of the union, which will fall in place for the continued benefit of the people of the OECS region.
And that's the English segment of the news. We now join McPherson St. Luce for the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, Assemblée OECS qui continue de fonctionner et puis même gouvernement et puis opposition, qui représente peuple ces pays-là. Inauguration pour l'organisation Salah prend place à Antigua semaine passée. Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt était chef de délégation gouvernement pendant Honorable Hector John représenté opposition. Ministre OECS Honorable Dr. John Colin McIntyre était membre à cette délégation Dominique.
Pour l'Assemblée ça, là, tout chef opposition, ça vient parce qu'on est pour garder chef opposition. Peut-être 3 années qui passaient, il y a eu gouvernement, tout ça. Naturellement, il y a assisé à l'autre place là. Mais il a continué parce qu'il y a des gens qui passaient déjà, comme si des gens comme Lester, Premier ministre Lester Burt qui a position naturellement. Et bien, tout le qui passaient déjà, c'est des gens qui étaient là pour nous ici actuellement. So, nous ne pas quitter eux parce qu'il y a un jour, ça fait gouvernement encore. Et bien, il y a un jour, le gouvernement qui l'a sorti. Mais là, nous pouvons continuer, nous pouvons respecter ça nous a fait à OECS. Parce que ça nous a fait, ce n'est pas pour le gouvernement. Nous avons fait ça pour payer tous ces pays à OICS là. So aujourd'hui c'est un gros jour nous, mon bien content avec mon cas dire ça été pour un jour pour venir là pour débattre dans OICS contre loi, contre législation nous ne peut passer pour aider tous ces monde là OICS là.
En notre nouvelle gouvernement People's Republic of China a awardé 9 étudiants Dominic Scholarship pour étudier en People's Republic of China. Ces étudiants-là recevront papier acceptance à eux pendant une cérémonie en Embassy China semaine passée. Ces étudiants-là ont branché et puis sont avec 7 d'autres qui déjà étudié en China depuis Dominique établi relations diplomatiques et puis pays salam en l'année 2004. En même temps aussi, le ministère de l'Éducation, Honorable Peter Saint-Jean, en parole est délivré qui a ces étudiants-là pour servir l'éducation là qui recevait à une manière avancée comme ailleurs. Et aussi qui a assis pour retourner en pays là et puis faire contribution à eux là ils fini. En même temps aussi, ambassadeur China pour Dominique, His Excellency Wang Zonglai, qui a assis ces étudiants là pour expecter difficultés qu'on éducation université par yon qui aisé. Et aussi souhaiter ces étudiants là bon succès. Secrétaire parlement en l'office premier ministre, Honorable Kelvin Daru, aussi adressé ces étudiants-là et puis souhaiter bon succès. Ces étudiants-là qui quittent pour China en 1 an et demi semaine. En notre nouvelle, National Cooperative Credit Union a continué un bon service par Mamayo. Institution qui a continué et puis programme où là, il y a un scholarship pour les enfants membres à l'école secondaire et puis collège. 11 étudiants, enfants à membres branche à eux, reçoivent un scholarship aujourd'hui pendant une cérémonie en l'occasion NDFD en Roseau. Madame Veronica Shillingford, c'est officier Cooperative Credit Union Dominique.
Pour la première fois dans l'année, nous présentons 3 scholarships neufs, 2 un homme défunt Hudson Savrin, et un homme Mary Wilkins. Hudson Savrin, il manage Roseau Branch of the Credit Union pour 17 années. Et Mary Wilkins a la salette pour 40 années et votre service pour Credit Union à Hoa. Comme on dit, plus bonnet, nous offrons un scholarship aujourd'hui. Scholarship là pour mérite, ça c'est pour les enfants qui font plus bien scholarship là. Un exemple là, c'était Selina Paquette. Et bien, nous offrons un scholarship à nos champs jolis pour mérite, quand il fait bien, de l'excellence. Des scholarships là à nos Hudson Savrin, Kathleen Charles Hodwozo et Joshua Timothy Hodwozo. Nous avons 4 scholarships à nos Edward Elwin, on l'autre nom encore qui va comme des bons services pour Credit Union là, Kelma Roll, Hot Belvy Chopin, Jonathan Timothy, Hot Mont Prosper, Josiane Stewart, Hot Pichelin, et Sheza Joseph Hot Trafalgar. Scholarship là pour Ambrose Coffee, pour Jean Rivière Siwick, Cody Polidor receive scholarship là, et yon a Venice Belloni qui can still serve, il can still votre service pour Credit Union là. Nous bas ça pour scholarship là pour Joshua Liblan. Et bien, premiers enfants qui reçoivent scholarship là pour Mary Wilkins, c'est Maurice Kyle James ou La Salette. Tous ces enfants ça qui tapent scholarship là pour 5 années, ils ont aller à l'école secondaire, Credit Union là qui paye l'école yo, ba yo had pour aller l'école, payer pour livre et bien si vous fait la grâce, vous fait 5 formes pour payer l'examen CXCU.
Et puis finalement, mauvais déluge qui a affecté Dominique semaine passée, la conditionné dommage qui a coûté plusieurs $1000. Plusieurs occasions bien affectées en parmi la Coudoué, Emzol, Trafalgar, Wharton Waven, en parmi d'autres. Ministre Public Works, Honorable Raymond Blackmore, qui a fait parole qui assessment chain pour déterminer la quantité de dommages qui fait l'occasion à Hillsborough, en Saint-Joe aussi tapé mauvais place. Quand même si le ministre Blackmore, le gouvernement a déjà contracté un loan Hot Bank Development Kawaii en Babad pour te mettre chimel l'occasion ça la virer en ordre après mauvais court temps l'année passée. Ministre Blackmore a gardé devant moun wan ça la tapé soulagement qui aussi été affecté. Quand même Honorable Blackmore a remercié tout le monde qui a assisté après mauvais court temps ça la. En même temps aussi, même parlement pour Saint-Joe, Honorable Kelvin Daru, qu'a créé assez monde constituency Saint-Joe pour prendre précaution pendant saison cyclone salam. Honorable Darou a gardé devant qui travaille à ces miroirs et puis pont neuf en York Valley qui a commencé avant l'année salam qui est fini. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en créole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est McPherson St. Luce. Au revoir.
And that's National Focus. As usual, we invite your suggestions or comments. Please feel free to drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm, or you can visit our website at news.gov.dm, or you can visit our GIS Dominica page on YouTube and Facebook. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm your presenter, Tarnia Green. Thank you so much for watching, and do remember to join us again tomorrow.
There's a point I want to share with you. They say there's nothing you can do about an earthquake. It's sudden. But there's something we can do. Having our family planning meeting in advance, just in case, to protect the children and the family.
Hey, nous pas parler condom, coil et tablet. So any monkey may kui, but when you're running, you must know where you're running to. Okay?
See me on Twambadi an earthquake. You, your family, and your children, and everybody at home must know exactly what to do, where to go, where to run. And the other thing is that you must know your surroundings. Because in your you can trip and fall and get hurt. Another secure place to go is under a table. Don't go under a glass table or a window or a door. It will break and shikaye and cut you. Go under a strong table. You want to see how? You come in, you get it. But it's not just to drop, cover, and hold. And then you have your head in your leg and you cover your head and you cover your eyes and Felix, tell them.
And yes, drop, cover, and hold. But only to serve Kumankai know your surroundings, where it is safe in the house.
And one thing to remember, if an earthquake happens, you must find a secure place. And your bathroom is a secure place, a sure place. Because the smaller the place, the more secure you are. So remember that.
And under a potager, the dresser is a very good place to hide.
I agree.
The closet, where you have all those old jackets and those kiang, all the shoes, is a very good place, it's a safe place. The closet.
That's a good idea.
And the bookshelf, n'importe place comme ça, qui s'est tombé à saut. Stay away.
A message from the Office of Disaster Management in Dominica.